Welcome back to the hottest marriage show in town. Now, a few people have heard of us, and the town is getting larger. And I wanted to say good morning to the better half. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
That's good. This morning, we had our usual walk, and we had a conversation about our youngest. Our youngest is taking his third day of absence from school. And I wanted to talk about that because I was just thinking about all of the programming that we've received, in our life. And to watch a kid who has a certain level of expectation, nothing that I don't think that we've taught, but for the most part, just recognize our behaviors. He was sick on, I believe, Monday.
Yeah.
And his mother. So this is, I'm gonna just tell you the two different types of parenting that went on this day.
I thought this was going to go in a different direction until you said, let me tell you. And I said, oh.
No, because I thought that the way that you looked at it and the way that I looked at it, because I've had more time to reflect on what happened that day.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe you told me that he wasn't feeling well.
Yeah.
Maybe even the night before. You was like, his face is...
Oh, yeah. So the night before, his eyes were watering. When you just cannot stop your eyes from watering. And when I walked in to say something to him, he was laying at the end of the bed. His eyes were watering. And it was like that nasal congestion. And you could hear it. And I was like, you all right? And obviously he's not all right. But I wanted to make sure he wasn't crying over something, but that's not him. And so, I pump him with some Benadryl, put some vapor rub on him, put the humidifier in the room. I was trying to hit it from a bunch of different angles. And when he woke up,
I guess you could say that he was the same, but I just want you to know, like, she gave you her perspective. So when I saw him that night, I didn't think anything was wrong. Nothing. When I saw him the next morning, I thought that he looked just like the night before.
Oh, his eyes dried up. Yeah.
Well, to me, I didn't see any of the things that she saw. But, I could hear it in his voice. But, Kanika came out into the living room. We sat down. Well, I was sitting down already, and she said, I don't think he feels well and all of this. So then, of course, hey, Dallas, is there anything that's preventing you from being as productive as you normally are when you go to school?
This is how he says it.
He said, no, I can do it. And I go on to ask him other questions. His mother confirms, okay, he can go to school. So I take him to school. We start our walk. Maybe 12 to 15 minutes into the walk, I get a phone call from Dallas. Now, mind you, you know what? We asked him for real. It was like, You don't have to go to school.
Yeah.
And then I promised school hadn't started but 20, 25 minutes, and I'm going to pick him up.
But can I just interject and say, so after John said, is there anything that's preventing you, blah, blah, blah. So I go in and I always check Dallas's bag before he leaves. And he looked up at me and I said, are you okay? And he looked up at me like, please help me. But I was like, but then he says, I'm okay. And I was like, okay, you don't have to go, right? And he was like, I'm okay. So before he left, we did say that. We said, Dallas, you don't have to go. And he felt like he needed to go, but we said, if you don't feel well at all, call and we'll come and get you. And so my boy said he was in gym. Now he has gym first period, and his gym teacher, regardless, is going to make him run. So whether it's outside or inside, he said they were running, and he said he felt dizzy and he wanted to throw up. And then he went and sat down and he was like, I think I need to call my parents. So here we are.
Well, no, we're not even there yet, because so he comes home. I think that, he just needed some rest or whatnot. So the next day, yesterday, he says, I fixed him breakfast, and he was like, Father, if it's okay, I just need one more day. And I didn't have a problem with that because, I mean, if he says he needs it, like, he's a really good student, so, and he likes school, so why would I have a problem? But I guess the way that I look, and I have to change that. So now we come to today. Well, last night I said, hey, how you feeling? He said, oh, I'm feeling really good. Good enough to go to school. I know I'll be doing that. And that's what he told me. And then this morning I look at him and he looks kind of like the day before. And I was like, hey, go have some breakfast. Maybe you can get up and then walk it off. And then he came here and pleaded to me like I needed that. But I just I wanted to talk about this.
He pleaded to you?
Well, he didn't plead. He stated his case on why he should stay home another day. And I was like, brother, I don't care if you go to school or not because, and then he says, but I have all of the work. The teachers have given me the work. I'm going to make sure I won't get behind. And I'm like, dude, you don't ever have to go back to school if you can do that. Like I really didn't care because I think that the way that I grew up, perfect attendance, in my head, like I missed like maybe 11 days K through 12.
You better than me.
And the reason why I did, because in my head, like that's just what you're supposed to do. So it kind of carried over and they try to create this work ethic, like you go to work no matter what. And I don't believe in that anymore. I believe that if you're sick, that you can't give you 100%. So why should you go to work? And I know that it kind of makes it harder for people around, but I really believe you should come first. And if half the school needs to take a sick day, they have to take a sick day. And I know that's irresponsible for students, but I just feel like the students can't be their best if the teachers don't want to be there. And I think we just create this climate where people don't want to be better at their job. And I personally want to teach our kids that if you don't feel good, there's no need to doing anything unless you get 100% or close to it.
How does that make it where people don't want to be better at their job?
Oh, well, I'll give you an example. So when former teacher, I don't know anybody that in either country that looked at their job as something that I am going to be better today than yesterday. They may have said that at the beginning of the year, but they do it. They do it just to do it. Now, there's some people that are really good at it, but just think about it. Like, if teachers actually viewed their job like professional athletes that want to be great, wouldn't education look different?
If they paid them like professional athletes.
I totally get it. But the reason why they don't get paid like that, because we can't show their worth. And honestly, look, being a former teacher, all teachers don't deserve that money.
I feel like some teachers are limited by the curriculum they've been given.
Well, I don't feel like that. I feel like a good teacher will make the most out of that curriculum.
Well, when you said they don't show, like there's no way to show, I don't think so. I feel like
No way to show what?
You said that there was no way to show their worth.
Yeah, you can't. No, not in this setup. Like think about it. So if a teacher, okay, this is how you reward teachers. Their worth. They move them up.
Move them up how?
They move them into administration or professional development. They help groom other teachers. They don't give them money. Like, okay, the money as far as the pay grade, but that's still not their worth.
What if some teachers like to teach?
Oh, I totally get it, but you're still not getting paid your worth. Just because you like to teach don't mean you're getting paid your worth. My point is, that's why I told you, remember in the other episode, I said that the teachers will become the rock stars, because if teachers really worked on their craft, they would be able to control a particular market. But they don't set it up like teachers can become extremely good, because they just kind of distract you with a position title and give you a little bit more money and try to say, hey, I need you to make them like you.
Okay. Well, I don't really know. I served as a teacher for 5 years, and I have different feelings about that here, there, and everywhere. But regardless of that, I think that
look at you. Look at you when you were teaching over abroad. I thought you
Right.
like the amount of effort that you put in. Like I told you, I said teachers don't do that, and all y'all got paid the same amount.
Yeah, and
So-
then they asked me to be the professional development
They rewarded
lead.
you with
They rewarded me with
titles
a title.
that's what
There
I'm
was
telling
no
you.
money.
None.
Yeah, but
That's here too.
yeah.
And that's what everybody wants to say. Hey, I've been promoted to this, and you got like what 10 to
You got
15%.
more responsibilities. Yeah,
Yep, to take up more time.
Well, you know, I think that circling back to the whole attendance thing, we got revved up. Like that's how people, for lack of a better word, that's how they mind fuck you to do everything they want you to do. They make those things rewarding. Like, I need you to be at school every day, so perfect attendance award.
Just show up, yeah.
Perfect attendance, like
Not bring
that's
your
not-
best, just come.
Yeah. Or but now you are, you get the prestige of being teacher of the year. We're gonna give you the closest parking space. But like, what else are you gonna do for me to help me to excel or go beyond this?
Did you know that teacher of the year is like, it's really difficult. Like you have to apply for that.
I didn't know.
And,
That.
oh yes, and there's a certain level of requirements that you have to present for you to even be considered. So like either you can present, like you could say, okay, I think I'm teacher of the year. I have these things, or somebody could do it for you. But if, like I said, if I recommended you to be teacher of the year, like you still have to complete all of this stuff. So do you really think you're a teacher of the year? Because ultimately the reason why people aren't doing it, because they don't want to do
They
the
don't want to do all that. Look, it's enough to have to do. But I want to circle back to the whole attendance thing and the perfect attendance. Like I told Dallas on Monday, after he had awakened. How do you say it? Awaken.
both of them. I know they both
I hate
mean
woken.
the same.
I hate woken.
They mean the same though.
Okay. So after he woke up the first day, that afternoon, I sat down and I said, Dallas, you can't go to school. There are a couple of reasons why I don't believe in sending kids to school sick. Number one, they spread germs. Keep your kid at home if they are sick, if they don't feel well. Now, on Monday, Dallas, like I said, he was a little congested in the nose, but his eyes had dried up, and he was like, no, I'm good. So I was like, okay. But I told him, if you don't feel well, come home. I don't like when people go to work sick, and it's like their way of like saying, look at how great I am at my job. Even when I feel horrible, I'm still pushing through.
I know.
Or when kids go to school sick and the parents be like, you all right, go on to school. I don't like that, because my biggest concern with him is that when you're uncomfortable, you can't learn, you can't absorb any of that. It's better for you to just be at home. But we teach our kids that you need to go to school. Dallas is a good student. He'll cover what he needs to cover. I'll never have to worry about that. And so why am I going to shove him into school? Now, I will say this. We are parents who follow up, make sure he has his assignments. Did you do this? Did you do that? We watch their grades online or whatever. But I can also say there are parents who have multiple kids or multiple jobs, and the only way these kids are getting their educational guidance is through school. So, not everybody can be so flippant and say, if you don't feel well, then stay home because it's fine. Because there are kids who struggle and they need every bit of that instruction and that help, and they want it. I get that part. But I really, really, when I looked Dallas in the face, I said, I need you to know that your attendance is not our priority. Like, we want you to perform well in school, but it's important to, if your body says no, then stay in bed. And I felt like he was looking at me, even in when he was about to walk out the door with John on the first day. He was looking at me, and John was putting his coat on, and Dallas had this look on his face like, help. But he was powering through.
Yeah. So in like what you said, I think that creates a bad habit for later. We think that's something good, but think about some of some of the times you've gone to work because you don't want to hear what somebody may say because you took off or you took off an extra day or you just feel like you're going to get behind in work. Mm-hmm. Like you still thinking about, oh, if I miss this day, I'm going to be behind. Look, at the end of the day, if you're not 100%, that work doesn't even matter. And I think that we have to put ourselves first before the idea. Like, I guess it comes with job security. If you knew that these people needed you, you would know that, hey, I can't go to work today because of this. And that's so be it. But the way that we look at it, we feel like they make us feel like we're dependent on this job. And like, if you don't come to work, you're not, like, we're going to just replace you.
And you're not.
Correct.
And that's what I want to get in Dallas's mind right now. Like, you don't have to, work yourself to death in order to, like, if your body says lay down, trust yourself in your body and do that. I know that I can't remember if it was this position or another position I might have applied for previously. Oh, it was in overseas when I had applied for that job. They asked me, in your previous job, how many days were you sick out of the year? First of all, don't worry about me and what I'm doing over here. But then so what if does that give you, okay, so if I was sick 50 days out of the year, what if it was a sickness I had and I got treatment and now I'm not? Like, don't do that. But I understand why they asked.
That's a business.
It is a business. But at the same time, if my performance is well, my references say I did my job well, and whatever the case may be, then I need my son to know that these jobs really don't care. They don't care about your health. They don't care about, and if you died, they will replace you immediately. And so he is the only one who can really advocate for his health and well-being. And apparently I don't know if I should have pushed harder on Monday to say, Dallas, just go. I think he was waiting for me to just say, Dallas, just go back to bed. Because I've done that before. But
I told you that I think it was a good idea that he went because now he knows what it feels like to say, okay, this is one of those moments where I should stay home.
Yeah. Like, considering that he did today. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Again, and that's something that, some companies will make you feel like, they'll tell you, you need to take, we're all about your health and your mental health, and here are all these resources, but they don't want you to take no time off. They don't want you to take a moment to yourself. But they're not going to, unless you take like 20 days in a row, I'd understand them saying, hey, we might have to let you go. But other than that, like, take the time. Well, and these kids need to learn now so that they don't feel any obligation later.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. This is my observation from listening to you. The people that go to work sick know that they're not performing the way that they should. Oh yeah, they're just there. No, they don't know that they know that they're not performing the max peak. Yeah. So to stay under the radar, because if you don't go to work and they start looking at you, your performance has to show why you can miss this many days. So true. It's more so like people don't realize that's what they're doing. But if you knew that you were cold, like, you would take off. Like, I just think about all the people who like just think about the entertainers who perform concerts. They will cancel a whole tour because they don't feel well. Yeah. Like, if you depended on that money and you didn't know what you were going, you would have to push through that. Yeah. But they're that good where they can be like, it ain't that serious.
But you know what? The thought of that, though, yeah, they did. But you know what? People took time off. They bought these tickets. They did like deposits for, like, maybe bought a plane ticket, or like, there's such a waterfall, like, ripple effect.
Well, I just think that's because the people that was waiting for that concert is really not happy in life. They're looking for an escape. Think about it. If you can,
or they love the artist,
or you're not worried about their health because you're that selfish.
No. And no. I don't want to do that. I want to be honest.
No, now, I am. I'm saying, like, if you get to the root of it, let's get past what I just said.
No, it's not. I'm not saying that the people don't care. I'm just saying that in a perfect world, they would have been able to sacrifice that money to do this thing that they feel is so exciting, and the artists feel good. Like, nobody wishes that the artist would just, like, I don't care about whether or not they feel well or not. I don't care. It's not that. It's just like, look at how this money, because even if the artist was like, all right, well, I'm gonna refund everybody their ticket money, or I'm gonna rebook y'all, you can have this, this ticket will work for a year from now or whatever, we're rebooking. There's still a loss of money. And it'd be like, oh.
But that's what I'm saying.
just thinking of if it were me. And that's just a side note. I'm not saying that the artist's health doesn't matter, because I'm fully in support of that. But golly, the ripple effect on that.
I still don't see I see this. Again, there's no ripple effect if the artist is healthy, right? So if you and this is just in my mind to break it down, because ultimately the artist is to help make you happier. But if they're not in a place to be able to. No, but I'm saying, like, as far as you said, if it was me, like to me, in a perfect world, just think about this: somebody who's late, and it was like, man, they late, and then you find out they got in a car accident. Like, you didn't. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like we're thinking about our own personal.
Okay, let me roll you back. I'm just saying, the ripple effect. I understand the artists needing to do whatever they need to do, but I'm also thinking about the impact, the ripple effect it has. I'm not saying that it's more important. I'm not.
Oh yeah. Oh, so I just want to, ultimately, I want you to get and receive this. Like, if we can get to the root of it, then things wouldn't be so like, it wouldn't hurt so much, because I get it. Like, you're saying, okay, I could have possibly taken off work. I booked tickets. I did all of these things. But I'm like, the loss of money versus the health of somebody who may no longer, like, be alive tomorrow. So,
I got you.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, it's easier to take away the selfish acts if you can be like, what is the most important thing here? Okay, maybe if they recover, I get to see them again. You know what I'm saying? So, and it changes the way you're emotionally. Like, you be like, man, this always happens to me. But if you look at it in a way like, oh, well, apparently their health prevented me from going because I needed to recognize something else. I don't know. I just try to look at things in the most optimistic way.
You be carrying it off like that. That wasn't even, I did not intend on you going that.
Because I want to know why we don't consider somebody like the levels of importance.
Again.
No, that's what I'm saying. We don't consider that when we say that.
I did. I definitely considered it. And then I said secondary, I'm considering what happens to those people afterward. I'm not weighing the importance of
me,
the person's health. I definitely recognize that that's important.
Yeah, I guess.
Y'all see how he'll take me all the way out there? Let's just figure out the root of why you're upset and you're unhappy with your life, and that's why you're that wasn't even where I was going.
I know, okay. But like I said, maybe I was trying to give you something that makes it a lot easier for me to be able to deal with other people's mishaps in my perspective. Like, like I said, if somebody's late, and I've done this before. Remember when we first moved to Atlanta and I was playing poker all the time. Mm-hmm. And I used to be really loud and obnoxious during the game and whatnot. And I remember I got into it with Alan. And
which isn't hard to do between you two.
But that majority of those times were my fault. I like looking back. So, but what I'm trying to get at is that I was caught up in the moment of the game. Mm-hmm. It wasn't nothing personal. Mm-hmm. And I would get so amped up to like, man, F you, then get the F on. You know what I'm saying? And in his mind, I found out through another friend, he was like, man, you know, he got to go home to his family. You out here
Tell him to get that phone. Like you, like I didn't even look at it like that. I was just looking at. I was talking trash during the game, and he was looking at it like my friend is talking to me reckless about a game. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I didn't look at it as I could talk trash maybe in a more well behaved manner.
This is another example. You being too much. Yeah, and yeah.
But I didn't look at it that way. So now it's easier for me to try to take out the negative of anything, because if I'm talking to you, I care about you, obviously, because my time is important, right? So if I'm coming to see you, I just hope you get better. Just like you. I love you. So I hope you, have wonderful days so that you can rest and I can do it all over again the next day, except happier.
Okay. So then this brings up earlier this week then. So when we talk about how he can be kind of reckless and all the things that he says are, XYZ, he really is working on the whole communication thing. But I was listening to somebody today, and they said, just to take y'all back to a previous episode. So you know how we talked about how I would go 2 days without talking to him, and I probably should stop doing that. So it happened again this week, except it went to 1 day. So that's called growth. And he had said something to me earlier. He asked me a question. Now, this is a question that we might ask y'all later on. But he asked me, what is my wildest dream, right? And my wildest dream, it doesn't matter what I say. If y'all listen to me, I do sound pretty mild generally. So my wildest dream isn't extremely wild in comparison to what he would think. Like he would think like I want, one of my wildest dreams should be to fly or something like that. And that's just not me. And so we get into it about it, and it's not really an argument, but it's just like he's over the top and telling me that shouldn't be my wildest dream. It should be, there should be more, and there should be this, and there should be that. And I kind of I took that, and I didn't, once I got him to bring his tone down, I just left it. And I was like, all right, I just wanted that conversation to end. So later on in the week, he said, it was to go get Dallas. He said something to me, and it just fell out of his mouth. He didn't know what I was thinking or what was going on in my head, but he was like, that's just lazy. Now, and that bothered me. Now, what bothered me about it was, he had already judged and criticized me earlier about what my wildest dream could be or should be or whatever. And now he's, being critical of me or criticizing me, calling me lazy because he didn't know why I was making the choices I was making in that moment. And it really made me mad. And so I didn't talk to him because I felt like I wanted to fight. And I didn't want, I never want to fight, but I was so angry and hurt that, you were judging me and how I felt, what I liked, what I didn't like, what I wanted, what, you weren't really looking at the whole me. You were just making these comments and judging the entire world, or at least me, by your standards. And I'm going to tell you, the first day, I was in the house most of the day. When I got out of the house, I hadn't even realized how much the anger had built up. Like, I was riding through the streets, and I swear I was Tupac. Like, I was cussing. I was so mad. And it was like I let all of the anger and the, my feelings all build up to the point of like almost enraged. And it took a minute. When I got home, I was a lot calmer because it was like I had to blow that off. And the next morning we went on our walk, and I had decided that I was going to say to him, you hurt me yesterday, and this is why. Now, we ended up not having that conversation. We went up, when I said it, he had his headphones on. I didn't see under his hood, because sometimes we'll take a walk and we won't talk. Even when we're not speaking, we will walk together. And so, when he said, I didn't hear you, what did you say? I was like, never mind. And I kind of held it in again. And later on, he came to me and he was like, look, I don't know what's going on. I've thought about what it might be that might have upset you. And I have some ideas, but I just need to know X, Y, Z, and he really just came to me to talk to me about it. And it made me think, and we had a discussion and I was able to tell him how I felt. And I'm still working on my ability to like address my feelings. That's why I said before, I hold off from talking to him until I can get that rage part out and I can start thinking clearly about what are my feelings and what I want to say. So I get all this out to say, this morning I was listening to somebody and they said, one of the things about communicating in a relationship, when you're talking, are you criticizing or are you on a solution-based complaint? Like, are you saying, for example, if I come home and I'm often tired and the kitchen is never clean after he cooks, and that's not the case, but as an example, am I going to criticize and say, you only think about yourself, you so selfish, or you're lazy, without giving him an idea of what I'm talking about? Or do I come with a solution-based complaint and say, when I come home, I'm tired. So when you make food, could you clean up after yourself so then, I can just come home and lay down? Now, that's a complaint because then he knows, when I come home, I see food on the counter or whatever, and I really want him to clean it up. But there's a solution to it. Can you take care of that before I get home? Because I am tired and I need rest. Then that allows him to see, like, I'm not saying you're lazy or you're selfish. I'm saying, can you help me with this because this is not helping me, and there's something you could do to assist. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so I was telling him in the situation we had earlier this week, I said, I really felt like you were so critical of me, and the criticism without it being something that has a solution is just a feeling about me. It hurts. And it doesn't give me any context. It doesn't tell me, what are the specific, and even the things like when we talk later, I said, you said I was lazy, and like, I'm trying to figure out. And he said, yeah, there are instances that I could think of, but I'm saying to you, like, I don't want to feel like when you say things to me and it's just a blanket statement of you're this or you're that, that to me is hurtful. It's not helpful. And so I thought it was interesting that I saw that today where they were saying, the difference in communication in your relationship, you got to think to yourself, are you criticizing and you're not offering them a way out or a way to improve? Or are you giving a solution-based complaint where you're saying, this is what's bothering me and this is something that could help to make me not feel that way?
So if that was that's something that touched you today.
Yeah.
Using that, tell me by using that method that it could have changed the outcome of this week.
I don't know. I think that the lazy comment, I don't think that it would have had the impact it had I not withheld my feelings about your statements earlier about the wildest dream thing. And I don't necessarily know how you could have rephrased that, because to me, my wildest dream is mine. So whether it's tame to you or not, that's just where I am.
Well, again, I still feel the same way. And I feel like you have a level of connection to people before you, like I've never seen before with anybody that I've met. And to me, your ancestors' wildest dreams has decided to stop with your dream.
Okay, so this to provide more background. So when I turned 40, I wanted to explore my ancestry. This is a thing, DNA wise, looking in documents, all of that stuff. And so, yes, I've learned a lot about people in my family and, background stories. I've heard great things about women in my family, and it's really, really driven me to set goals for this coming year, because I really do. I want to be more than what those women could see themselves to be. And I feel like I am. And that's what that kind of bothered me, because I feel like in my family, I had women who owned property like 5 generations back. And there were some women who that property was stolen from them. And there's documents that show that they were fighting in court for it. There were women, my one grandmother, she owned a house and some livestock. And when she wrote her will, she told her husband, in the will it said, this livestock goes to this child, this goes to this. And she said, so the house that she owned, they owned 2 properties. She said, the house that I own, my husband can live in it with our 2 youngest children as long as he's single. And she said, if he get a chick, then he got to get out of her house, basically. And I thought that was so funny, because I'm reading this document and I see the ex, when they weren't really able to sign their own signature, they would have an X, and then some other person would have their signature to attest that was them signing off. And so I just thought it was funny that she owned things, and she was setting parameters around what you could do with her stuff once she was gone. And my other grandmother, the fact that she was a woman in Louisiana in the 1800s fighting for property she rightfully owned, I feel something about that. Like, these are women that are really strong, and, and so that, to me moving more towards into property ownership, it has a different feeling for me. And so me being able to acquire that, or moving toward acquiring those things and taking it a step further than them, as many steps further as I can, I feel like that's a part of their wildest dreams. I feel like I'm the most educated that I know of. I'm the most educated person in my family line, like from both sides that I know of. And I just feel like I got education that they could not have. I will have property that they can't take from me. I will do what they did, and I will make it even bigger and better. But to you, you're just like, yeah, that's not enough.
No, that's not how it went. In my eyes, it went like this. Again, your grandmothers in the 1800s had property, and we're in 2100, close to 2100, and
we ain't close to 2100.
We're closer to 2100 than 1800.
Oh, okay.
And you want to do the same thing they do, except you don't want the property to be taken. To me, I
feel like there's a lot more. It's the ability to, it's that self-determination that I have that nobody can take from me. Like, even with my grandmother, that, she said you can't live in the house if you marry again or whatever. My grandfather went back and tried to attest her will, obviously successfully, because he was a man versus a woman anyway. But I feel like I don't know where this path is going to take me, but it's beyond where they were. And it could take me,
that's what I'm saying,
eons on, but I don't have to be able to see it. I just have to enjoy my ride. This is where I'm going to go.
So you don't believe a person that fails to plan, plans to fail? Like, you don't believe in that? Like, in any, like, to me, the things that you're most successful in is the ones that you're organized in. Like, the things that you decide to make a concerted effort to be organized, okay, you're the most successful in. And your imagination for your wildest dreams is whatever comes. And, I'm willing, I get it, but I'm saying, like, if I ask you what is the end product look like? It's like, I just want it to be a surprise. That's what it sounds like.
No. I look at where I want to go And I do plan. I do have a lot of steps that I need. I do check off lists, and I look at things in phases. So I feel like once phase 1 is done, then I can project what I want for phase 2 and so on and so forth. I don't want to plan everything out to the T until the very end.
See, that's what I think that's where you failing to understand what I'm saying. If I want to own a business, I can see a building. I don't just put one brick and be like, hopefully whatever the end at the end of this is going to be whatever it is. It's like, I can see a building. Okay, now I need to get a plan to put it together. To me, you talking about phases. Okay, the first phase is getting bricks, phases to get help, but the product is this building. So what does your product look like? And you like, to me, you like, I got phases. Like your product says, your end product is me having property that nobody can take, and it's going to be bigger than they had. That's what it sounds like to me.
But what the specifics of those things, I don't have to discuss with anyone else. What I envision, it can be whatever I want. And then once I get to that, then how am I going to expand it? What else am I going to do? Like fulfilling all the things that I love to do, that could be to be everything I want to be. That could be my wildest dream. But that's not, the thing is it's not for you to decide.
It isn't. It is for me to be able to say that I don't like it. I can tell you that honestly, as like if I didn't know you, I would think that was terrible. But the reason why I hold it against you is because I know who you are. I know the things that you're capable of. So I hope it hurts your feelings, because I expect, like I told you yesterday, I have a level of expectation for you that goes beyond your own expectations. And if you don't understand that from your husband, then I told you, it's like the misunderstanding is how I'm delivering it, because I'm telling you there's a level of expectation that I have of you. Because if I tell everybody in the world that you do everything well, and I've told the world this. So if I see something that you say, hey, this is mine, it is. But understand that I'm your husband, and I'm not going to bite my tongue, because it's almost like this. Remember, when somebody does something and you don't tell them, you're hoping that the next person tell them, or they're going to just keep going on in the world ignorant. So in my instance, I'm trying to use every moment to tell you the skill set and the experiences and the education that you've acquired for you to just want that is like, it's so small.
But you know what's interesting is I didn't marry you to be my judge. I
you
married
didn't.
you to be my support.
And guess what? Look, check this out. you still missing it, because you know what? Before we got married, you had a certain level of expectation for me, right?
Right.
So how was I supposed to get there? You weren't going to show me how to get there. You automatically thought that I was supposed to already be there, right?
So did you want me to be more vocal in judging you point to point?
No, you didn't even expect me to be here. So you to me, all you gave me was the patience for me to find it.
So all I'm asking is the same from you.
Yeah, but I'm going to be vocal, because you couldn't tell. Like, I can tell you how I've gotten to this point. You can't tell me how to become a man. So me and you are complimenting each other in a way where I can say, hey, like, you have like this extremely remarkable tool belt, but some people that don't even have this tool belt has thought about way further than just this. So I'm saying that once you got a certain level of information, how does it not surpass somebody that don't even have your exposure?
But what I want you to understand is how you speak to me can be seen as criticism, or it could be seen as support. And you speak to me in a way where just because you tell me that I do everything well and you feel like I'm this, that's not, then that can't be the preface to saying, okay, now I'm about to slam her and say, I don't like anything you're doing right now. You did it. I
didn't say that. I was saying.
But that's what you do. You say, you are the smartest person. You do everything well, and that's the honey. and then you bombard me with the vinegar. Isn't that the thing? You catch more with honey than vinegar. But what I'm saying is, how has your perspective or how you've approached me over time, how has that worked out for you as far as motivating me?
It's absolutely worked out. You know why? You know why? Because if I didn't say anything to you, your dream was still going to be that. It was going to be what it was. I didn't have to ask you that. Your dream, your wildest dream was what it was. Right. But when I questioned your dream, you then question like all of this right now. At some point, you're going to get past your dream. That's what's happening. Like, it's not happening right now. I've already planned. Like I said, if I never said anything to you, your dream was going to get there. And guess what?
Right.
We're going to get there. And when we get there, you're going to be like, just like I told you, when I got to the dream of, when I got to a certain level of, this is it, I'm trying to help you because your dream is easy to get to in my mind.
Right. But what I'm saying to you is you're talking to me like when we get to the dream, or when I meet that level that I'm thinking about right now, it's going to be because of you. Mm-mm. And I'm saying,
I'm not saying that at all.
But no, the way you're speaking to me and your way of challenging me it's going to be some level of motivation. And in actuality, to me, it's going to be, in spite of how he spoke to me, even though I told him that it doesn't help me, it hurts more than it helps. And he continues. Like, that's what I'm trying to say to you. When you're talking to me, it feels more like criticism.
And I told you it is, because I'm telling you, even like I told you yesterday, there's a level of behaviors that I've learned. But I've told you my perspective and how I feel. And regardless of what I say, you still have a problem. And I'm telling you this, that at some point, this language that I'm using is going to fit to whatever.
Right.
And at the end of the day, there's a message that you're supposed to be receiving. But if you are if you're distracted by how I'm giving it and you know who I am, then you're stopping yourself.
No, I'm not stopping myself. I'm going to continue.
Continue what?
I'm going to continue working toward what I want. But what I'm saying to you is how you challenge me, you have to look at, is this helping or hurting her? Not what you would need to hear. What is it that I would need to hear? And right now I'm telling you that I'm hearing criticism, and I'm not hearing things that can lift me. It's just more things to put on my shoulders. That's what I'm saying to you. Like you said, as time goes on, the way that you'll communicate it will change. And I'm saying that it's interesting that I heard today this message, because that's how I felt this week. I felt like he's putting things on me. It's not, you're not propelling me forward. You're putting things on me to carry. And it doesn't push me forward.
So just like yesterday, I pushed a thought on you to carry. And when I say this to you, you make it seem like me giving you a task of a thought is the weight of like anything that I could do. Like I look, I totally get you feel like it's talking down at you, this is criticism or whatnot, but removing all of that, like you're telling me that regardless of what I say, that you can't get past whatever to receive the message that I got. So I'm cool with that. We'll move forward going through it, but I'm telling you that if you can vocalize and say that out loud, you're telling me that you need me to change it so you can grow. So you need me. No. That's why I'm receiving it.
I'm saying you could not say it at all and I'll grow on my own.
You will. But my point is, when you say the way that you're saying it to me, you're not pushing me. You're not propelling me. So
if you're not helping me, then would we say you're hurting me?
No, that's what you're saying.
So what I'm saying is, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, or if you can't say it in a way that is positive,
isn't that what I've been working on? So
yeah.
but you just admitted that. So this is the thing. If we can admit that you just admitted that, why is it that you can't get past the delivery and receive the message?
And that's a hard thing for me, because when you are, I can understand when I'm listening to you talk about conversations you have with other people, or we're talking about a conversation that somebody might be having on a podcast or a TV show. I can definitely sift through all of it. But then you're asking me to take those very personal things that are close to my heart and remove my emotion and be able to do the same thing. And that's not fair.
No. It's not fair
It's personal.
It's not fair to get a result that I'm looking for in such a small period of time. Totally get it. And I'm telling you that at some point I'm going to get better. But at the same time, you shouldn't be waiting for me to get better. Like I told you, if I never said anything to you, what was going to make you feel like, okay, you know what I thought about while you were saying it earlier? I'll give you an example of what I was looking for. Mm-hmm. So if you said, you know what, I'm going to get some property and I'm going to start a city, and my family, I'm going to find like
we've already talked about that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like that stuff that I know, like, is that it? Like I know I get the thing with the flying aspect or whatnot, but I just feel like when the times that we actually have time to just think when nobody's around, it should be free thinking. Like, and when you give me your free thinking, it just looks like TV. It looks like a beautiful beach with a book and a cocktail. That's what I'm saying. Like that's easy
after
though.
All of my work is done.
But that can be right now if we really wanted to do that.
But what I'm saying to you is, there are phases. This is my phase. We've talked about the whole, which you guys should learn about Floyd McKissick. That's what we're reading. What is it called? Soul City.
Mm-hmm.
It's this book called Soul City about a guy named Floyd McKissick back in the civil
late
rights
60s, early 70s.
And he got some federal money from Nixon. And it's so much about that story, y'all. Basically to build his own city in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And so we were talking about even before we learned about Floyd McKissick, based off of conversations Dallas and I have had, we have a goal for our family that's beyond just owning property, just floating around or whatever. But my phase 1 is just to get into it. And so my wildest dream will take flight. But right now I have my phase 1 where I'm thinking of. And so that's why he just brought up the whole city. Well, that might not be why you brought up the whole city thing, but I do want you guys to look into Soul City, because we're really about that book. But I think that it's okay for me, it's okay to think of my dreams in sections. Like, in the end, I do see myself living a very simple life. I would like to be on the beach. If I'm on a beach, I just want a book and a drink next to me. And that is my ultimate love place. But there's so much I want to do before I get there, John.
I know. So I guess when I hear you talk, as descriptive as you are, you limit that part of life to me. And
well, because I think in phases, I need to get here before I can get there, before I can get there.
No, like when you want a business, like if you want like a cigar lounge, like when I did that, I saw a building, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like a phase. It's like I see this product and I see what I wanted to do. It's phases to get there. But like I see cars flying. I see all of this. Like I can see these things. Like I can't say, you know what? I need to first get a car, and then maybe if I do that, I can think about maybe at the 20th phase it'll fly. I'm just saying,
for someone like me who procrastinates or who needs to, I set goals that I feel like, okay,
these are free thoughts. There's nothing. Yeah. You could be totally wrong. I just want to see what your imagination looks like.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
But we've already talked about what my imagination looks like. That's why
you haven't used it.
Because I gotta get there, don't like you gotta lay the bricks before you get the building. Like
no.
Like, all I was saying was, when you talk to me in a way where you would with someone. Like, you know, when we were talking about how to guide our kids versus our students when we were younger.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, you know, the way you approached our nephew at the time versus who was 14 versus the 14-year-olds you were teaching. Like, I want you to guide me like you would people outside of the house.
That's what I'm trying to do. That was the whole goal of me being an effective communicator, is to make sure that the person that's listening to me don't feel the way that you do.
And what I'm saying is based off of a conversation between Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin when she was talking about, you know, when you come home to me, treat me, you know, smile at me like you did them people outside, like you did your boss, like you did, you know, everyone that you worked with today. Don't come home and speak to me in a way that doesn't care about my feelings, because you know I love you. You can talk to me raw and uncut, because guess what? I want that from you. I want what other people get. I want the softness, and I want the thoughtfulness. And so I'm not saying you're not like that, but I'm telling people who are listening, that's what it's based off of. So when you come home to me and you talk to me, would you tell your boss that's not big enough, that's not good enough? Would you tell your coworker? Maybe you would tell your coworker that.
My partner, I would.
Your partner.
I would, because like it's a different type of relationship. That's what I'm saying. So check this out. I received your message long ago. I was just hoping that my message was louder than the one that you wanted to portray, because I married a woman the way that I described her. And like, you know, it's almost like if you were comfortable with me retiring after 30 years and we just kind of like will do whatever. Like, you remember when your father was like, hey, you know, why don't you just get a job and just buy a house and just do what we did? Like,
that's not what we want to do.
Well, you kind of did at one point. Like, you kind of like, I kind of brought these things upon you.
Well, look, I didn't necessarily need to be in one spot and just live there. I definitely.
No, I'm talking about go to the other side of the world. This is when he was like, hey.
I wasn't into that. But, well, I was into going to the other side of the world. But, yeah, it was a little scary. But what I'm saying to you is, bringing it back to my original point, we need to be, I brought this up not to say that it isn't something that we are actively working on. And as y'all can hear, we are really in the early phases of that. But I'm saying it to say, when we're talking to each other, we need to care about how we're presenting our feelings and our thoughts to our partner.
I need to do a better job. I know.
I mean, and I need to do a better job with like even expressing myself, instead of letting myself be like literally, I was Tupac, like, I'm gonna deny. I was mad in the car and I was like, I ain't a killer, but don't push me. So it's
all the things I've done to you in the past, me calling you lazy and saying your dreams ain't nothing, caused you to turn into Tupac. I ain't a killer,
but don't push me. Y'all, Tupac is everything to me.
I quit.
And so, but I'm saying to say to everyone else, and we're early in these stages too, as you could tell, it's just loving each other enough to be the support when I don't get what I want from everybody out in the world. When I come home to you, I want tough love, but I need more support on a softer side. That's just me.
I'm working. I got you. I am.
I'll learn to be harder toward you, because apparently that's what you want.
No, see, look, I don't know where you got that message from.
No, I'll just continue to be myself because I do everything well.
Yes, and I will continue to work toward that.
I appreciate it.
But
speak softly to each other, y'all.
Please, and look, there are times that I feel like I'm speaking soft and I'm not. So I will say that I love the way that you handled me in this conversation. They don't know, because
when I started the conversation, he turned his back and looked out the window like this
man. No, but attack the day with relentless tenacity, bend all opportunities to your will. Be great on purpose.
Boom.